Eventually. Louise Turner?
Hello.
Or hello? Or do we just say Turner because of the CD? Or
You can say a bit of both. You can call me Lulu if you want. There we go.
Lulu? Well, do I have to go there? Well. You got a new CD out?
I have, yeah, finally. It's only took me 7 years, Rik, to do this album. So yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster, but it's finally out.
It's an overnight success after 7 years.
After 7 years, yeah. I'd have been gutted if it wasn't, after all that slog, But no, I've been really pleased with some of the reviews and the feedback's been, really good. So, all good.
All good.
All good. So
where did it all start?
Whew. My musical history?
Yes.
God, where do I begin?
In the back of your dad's car?
It is, actually, yeah. My dad was an absolute massive influence to me, as I've said. So I grew up in quite a musical family because my dad was a singer. He always played the guitar, so he was always encouraging me to kind of pursue it as well. So from as far back as I can remember, I was singing basically all the time, probably driving him insane. I was on little keyboards and kind of being very musical from a young age, but my dad introduced me to some great music, and even though, like, obviously my friends were listening to 90s stuff and all that kind of thing, I was listening to Buddy Holly, Roy Orbison, Karen Carpenter, all these kind of, like, great songwriters. Yeah. So he instilled that in me, to all these melodies, and he had a really good musical knowledge. And he was kind of gutted that he'd missed his way, so he was very encouraging with me to chase my dreams. Yeah. After that, I went to high school. Again, I was really lucky. I had a great music teacher called Mr. Evans, and he was really encouraging again. Taught me all the harmony work, and I did all the vocal harmony work, and we sang really cool stuff, for a choir. Yeah. You think it's going to be a bit, but we were doing like Oasis stuff, and again, all these kind of great bands, and he was another strong male influence in my life. And then moving on from that, I studied musical theatre at college, because I absolutely love theatre, and I think you can kind of sense that in my music, that I have that kind of aspect.
Sense of the dramatic.
Yeah, I love it all. I love Kate Bush, and the way she puts drama into the songs, and it's not just like, here's another music video, you've got a bit of...
It's not a moon, June, spoon.
Yes, boom. Yeah, I try and steer away from that. I love David Bowie and everything that he does, and the chameleon that he is, how he puts on all these different kind of characters. So I studied that, which was great again.
So putting the theatre into the music, therefore, like, as you mentioned on the CD itself, it's a journey.
It is, yeah. I tried to make it this kind of, like, I didn't just want it to be, well, here's one song, here's another, I tried to think a little bit more outside the box with the album, so hence why it's called Daydreams and Stars. Because you've got two sides to it. So the daydreams is almost like your whimsical kind of reflections and the daytime kind of dreams, and then obviously the stars is the little nuggets of glamour and kind of a bit more of the darkness there. So I tried to put that bit of theatre and creativity into the album.
A bit of Bowie sequins.
Yes, a bit of glam and glitz. So yeah, and you can tell that with the artwork as well, because obviously I work with Derek D'Souza, who's a legend, and he listened to me and must have thought, what's she on about? I tried to say we need a journey, with the pictures, again, that kind of matches the music, and we went to Heaton Park on a really sunny day and did all this series from daytime right through to the nighttime to put the art with the music. But going back to obviously how it all began, I've been lucky again that I've collaborated and guested with so many different people. When I first started, my first one was called North, and I don't know what happened to them since that, but...
they went south.
They did, yeah, they did. And the first gig with them was at the Ritz, and I remember being stood there thinking, oh God, it was one of them moments where you're like, oh, and everything went really well, and after that I just thought, I've got the bug here, Then I got asked to do like a Debbie Harry kind of cover gig, and that kind of brought my love out of Blondie, listening to all those songs, and I was up there thinking, these songs are great.
I can do this.
Yeah, I could definitely do this. And I've guested with obviously the Sound of Pop Art and the Speed of Sound. I went to be in DC Fontana, which was an amazing experience. What a great bunch of musicians, and they kind of obviously, I learnt a lot from them. travelling to Birmingham every week, so I think that was commitment, wasn't it?
Oh,
On the motorway.
Birmingham.
Birmingham. It became like my second home, you know.
Oh, dear.
And
So you did suffer for your art then?
I loved Birmingham. I thought it was great. It was such a good time. We played Euro Yay Festival, and that was just out of this world. You know, in like a village square, and it was just beautiful. And then I had the chance encounter obviously with Elbow. I was teaching in a studio in Manchester and got asked to do the Seldom Seen Kid, which was absolutely again out of this world, but I had no idea at the time just how successful they were, so I was a bit kind of cheeky with Gaga, suggesting harmonies, kind of going, oh, I can hear one guy, and he must have thought, who's she? But obviously ended up singing on One Day Like This, which was amazing, because it's one of my favourite songs, even if I wouldn't have sang on that.
So what made you decide, right, I'm doing an album, that's it, I'm not doing a single, I'm doing an album?
Well obviously, as I'm saying about guesting with lots of different people, I kind of knew in the back of my mind I always had it in me to do something for me. I've loved singing other people's songs and being part of all these bands which have shaped me, and I've met so many great people, but in my mind I was thinking I'm itching to get my thoughts and ideas and songs across, you know. I felt kind of trapped, thinking I need to get this out, and how am I going to...
I've seen them do it, I can do this.
Yeah, how am I going to manifest, you know, I'm going to get this to come to life. And then I started to, obviously, Jason has been another strong male influence again, because he helps me so much. He encouraged me loads with the first EP. He said, you've got it in you, just do it, you know, crack on. And obviously it takes a lot of confidence to think, right, okay, I'm gonna do it, because I was on my own completely then. So I did the first EP, and I signed with obviously Detour Records, which was ace. I was the first female to sign for them, so Dizzy took a bit of a kind of risk on me. I hope it paid off. So I released This Is Turner, which was my first kind of piece of work as me. I have written songs before. I've recorded in HQ Studio.
I forgot to mention, we are in
HQ Studio.
I know you can't see much of it, but we are here. and we have people lurking in the background. So if you hear any comments or disparaging snort,
from this way. I've HQ here has been kind of a part of my musical history all the way through from being young.
Really?
I've worked with Mike Vindici for what seems like forever, and he's been a really good male influence for me. I wrote songs under another band called Bleach Baby, which was kind of like my first punt at, you know, doing my own kind of thing. And then obviously I did the EP, and then I thought to myself, right, I've got this album in me. I've got to do it, you know.
In the album you can hear so many different influences, like we were listening again on the way down here. You've got I think I can hear lots of country influences in there.
There is. It's a really weird mix actually, because I can't just like pinpoint a single genre. That I like so many different types of music, but I obviously love Kate Bush, Debbie Harry, Dusty Springfield. I love...
And there's definitely the Bacharach thing in there.
Oh yeah, I love Bacharach. I went to see him at the Apollo, which was amazing. Nancy Sinatra. There's so many different influences, and it's all kind of great female influences.
If there was one song from any era that you could say, I wish I'd written that, what would it have been?
Oh God, now you're putting me on the spot.
Is there any song is there any song you keep on of another artist that you keep on returning to? You might not listen to it for years, but then you go back to it and go back to it.
There's so many. I mean, I love, and I know it's kind of like a classic one that everybody probably does, but I love Stand By Me. I think that's probably one of my all-time kind of favourites. I also love the Beach Boys songs and the way that they write them with the harmony.
Wilson's.
How clever they are, and they take you to, it's so angelic and on another kind of plane, aren't they? So any of theirs, you know, God Only Knows and In My Room. So there's several, but I think if I had to pick kind of like one of my favourite songs, Stand By Me has just kind of always been in my life from being, I love the film as well, from being younger, but Buddy Holly obviously wrote some great ones. There's so many. You put me on the spot here, Rik, I can't.
It's like choose the favourite child.
Yes, you know, even though I haven't got any. Favourite dog.
No. We both had traumas with that over the last few months.
You won't talk about dogs.
No. Too much. Yeah. I've been made like on this scrap of paper. I've got notes here. Things like track 1, character.
Yeah. Well, character is actually written by the very talented Michael Vindici, who's lurking in the background.
The 5 is in the post.
Yeah. And I've always loved this song. Mike played me this several years ago, and I think it's just such a clever song, and I love it. And I've always said to Mike, I've recorded it a couple of times before, and I knew that I wanted it to be part of the album, just the kind of pulsing, the feel, and I thought it'd be a great one to kick it off, and all about kind of like not willing to change, and like a leopard doesn't change its spots, and all that character. It's all quite dark, so I knew I wanted to include obviously one of Mike's on there. Every other song is written by me, bar obviously. And
you've not just got guitar, you've got lots of other instruments kicking off,
yeah, there's all sorts of stuff.
How do you manage that? How do you manage to drag people? Is that I've got a song?
Can anyone bring a helicopter? There's a helicopter noise literally halfway through. There's all sorts
as you do,
There's all sorts of stuff going on. Hammond, obviously I had the very talented John Ellis. He features on a few throughout the album. He plays the Hammond, and the lads in the band have got Albert, Danny and Ben.
Which was the easiest track to record?
Probably Miss You, just because it's literally an acoustic guitar, my voice, and then some strange noises. I don't know what they were, but so literally not a lot, and I knew with that one, it's all from the heart. It's very heartfelt.
It was already there.
So yeah, it's about my dad. It's a tribute to my dad. So it felt so easy to kind of like get that one, out and kind of.
And the most awkward one?
Most awkward. Well, originally there was going to be 12 songs for the album, and I'd done I think about 8 of them.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit. And I was like, I've just announced that I'm putting this goddamn album out. And then it's like, no, everyone, lockdown. I'm like, brilliant. So I was kind of obviously a bit stuck. And I didn't just want to put eight songs on the album out. I had other ideas of songs that were going on there. And so I got in contact with Mike. And I said, can I come in and record with you? I haven't got the lads can't come in. They can't obviously be a band for me at the moment, can't rehearse with them. So 2 songs on the album were never going to be on there. And in my opinion, I'm so glad I put them on because they're 2 of my favourites, and it's Mr. Know-It-All and The Clock.
Yeah.
And the sessions were just brilliant in here at HQ. We just had loads of fun with them, and I felt like, when you have them moments where everything just seems to click. Yeah. In the vocal booth here, it just felt great. It was good atmosphere. The clock was quite challenging because we layer all the voices that are on there, and I did all the clock sounds and everything else. But as much as it was challenging, it was also really good fun. So I'd say maybe the clock, just because I had to put down all the layers and and obviously because those 2 are the last 2, and we're like, got to get it done. Got to, it's kind of like the pressure. The heat was on.
The heat was on.
The heat was on. There you go.
Tick-tock, tick-tock.
Tick-tock. Yeah, I just kept hearing that at night. And I was like, no, need to finish it.
So, where can people get this stuff?
Well, it is available obviously on my website,
which is
www.thisisturner.com.
Yep.
So you can order a physical copy on there, a CD. I am hoping maybe to put this out on vinyl in the future when I've saved my pennies.
Well, you've got a long time to save because vinyl pressing plants have only got a 9-month backlog.
Have they?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Right, so I've got time.
I know 3, and each one of them. One's in Moscow, one's in Athens, Georgia, and the other one's in Czechoslovakia. Well, Czech Republic, so I can't say Czechoslovakia anymore. And each one of them say stacks out.
Okay.
Because
so it gives me time.
Well, the big boys have moved in, like Sony, and they're pressing on back catalogues.
Yes.
And chucking money at people.
Yeah.
So the actual hard-working artist doesn't get a look in.
Yeah. So I'll just wait for a bit on that one. But obviously they can get it on there or on Facebook if they direct message me. But I am in the process of re-releasing, doing a digital re-release. So that's all kind of in the background at the moment.
What about your back catalogue? Where can we get it?
This is Turner, the EP, is obviously available on my website as well. So at the moment there's the EP and the album. And then, as I say, I'm going to do this digital re-release, so watch this space for that. But I've got a whole heap of other songs in the can at the moment.
What would you say is the biggest difference between the EP and the LP? Mood-wise or
mood-wise, yeah, I think it's more to do with, obviously I was solo, so the EP had more of a kind of like Scott Walker vibe going on, a little bit more just me and my voice, but whereas on the album you've got a bit more of the full band sound, there's the rockier edge, because I do love, you know, Debbie Harry, as I've mentioned, and all that kind. I love Fleetwood Mac as well, so you've got that kind of like band feeling on there, as well as the darker sides to it, the bit of kind of like obviously Mr. Know-It-All, The Clock, Miss You, you've got kind of like, but yeah, more of a rockier edge to some of the songs, I'd say.
Gigging?
At the moment, I'm obviously going out with the Electric Stars a lot, so you can see me with them. There's no official gigs in the pipeline just yet, but I am hoping to do a little mini tour now things have opened back up. I'm hoping to tour the album, but I'm going to need like a big like brass section, so and a choir. See, I'm just getting
a brass section.
Yeah. Anyone want to join me for that?
So you're going to need more than a
I want it to
seater
be Bacharach, you know what I mean? But it's not going to be, so.
Bacharach from the back of a van?
Yeah, Bacharach from the back of a van. So I'm hoping for some gigs in the pipeline, but as I say, my main thing as well is to not leave it so long to record, literally. So I'm going to be right on it and try and get some more recording done this year, definitely. And another little EP, I think.
And so, have you got any videos out on YouTube or anywhere?
In the moment, I'm just obviously in the process of sorting a couple from the album. With so I hope your good self might be like to be involved in that, right?
Yes.
So hopefully one for Stay With Me and Mr. Know-It-All. I'm looking at a few different ideas and might have a special guest appearance in one of them. So again, watch this space. So yeah, all good.
And what would you like for the future?
I'd like to keep kind of obviously recording from the heart, because I feel like on the album if I can say one thing, it's that I was really genuine with what I did, and every song had a story and a meaning. I had a really lovely comment actually off Johnny Bradley from Mod to Your Generation, and he said that it'd be an album he'd be proud of his daughter listening to, because there's a lot of kind of female strength on there without being like it's got, you know, it's quite uplifting for girls as well, because there's lots of references to the music industry and being strong. So if one thing I'd say is recording again, releasing as much as I can, and just staying true to myself, you know. It
must be hard to be writing songs as a vocalist rather than as a person as a musician, or don't you find that, or does it blend over?
It kind of blends over, yeah. I mean, when I write a song, I kind of start with a melody in my head, and then I'll be in the car or somewhere daft, like I'll be, and sometimes I'm even asleep, and then I'm like, oh, and then I'll record it, and then I'll kind of get a structure, and then I ask kind of a musician to maybe help me out, because I play bits of guitar, bits of piano, so I can do bits, and then it all kind of comes together, you know, that way.
Have you ever written a song where you've had it in your head where it's going one way, it's going one way, it's going one way, and when you actually come down to put it down, it goes completely different direction?
Yeah, probably. Mr. Know-It-All probably was one of those. I kind of like had this idea of like almost like a Bond type thing, which I do think it's got elements of that. But that started off very different to how it become, and then actually coming into HQ, we had a whole different middle eight for that song, and it was actually Mike who kind of said, what about doing something where it goes off on a kind of, you know, he was kind of influencing me on that, and then we ended up with that whole R section at the middle eight, and it kind of spirals, and it was just totally different to how I imagined it'd be, but I absolutely loved it. So
but you need a good producer or engineer working with you, because they've got so much creative input they can have themselves.
They have,
and they're very rarely given credit for it.
They are, and I think obviously
give fivers in the post again.
Yves Altana's another producer, and Dean Glover obviously. I've worked, and that's another thing about the album. I've worked with lots of different producers, but it really helped the album. I think it could have been a disaster, but it wasn't. You know, it helped. Like all them different influences really helped.
And then the final one. If anybody, I'm going to put you right on the spot.
Oh no.
One track from the album. If somebody's never heard of Turner before, never ever, not even put a download, not even nothing, not even gabbed you on the phone. One song of your own that you can say, listen to that. That is me.
Right, you have put me on the spot here. I'm like, oh god. I would say, because it's the title track from the album, and another one I'm proud of, Daydreams and Stars. Just because obviously that's very isolated. That's just me putting it out there, very heartfelt. I've got John Ellis, and that was all done in one take with John on the piano.
Right.
And we went into his studio, and you know, like I say about the vibe of a place, like in here in HQ, it all clicked. In his house studio thing, I was like in the moment, and everything just felt right. And it almost felt like a church atmosphere because he's playing and the acoustics, and then we just did it in one take. And
So,
I'd say that because that just tells you everything really. It's got the heartfeltness there. Obviously, it's quite raw, and yeah. So I'd say Daydreams and Stars.
so Daydreams and Stars, soundtrack of the LP, CD, LP,
Yeah.
whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it. Where can we get it from again?
I find it hard to say the www.thisisturner.com.